it's obviously exciting, right? I think we didn't have necessarily the best start there, and we just battled back, right? I think it's a long road, right? I think you go through the whole regular season and ups and downs, and then obviously we kind of go out there, and our first quarter was a stinker, and I think you just stick with it, right? I think you kind of go into the dressing room in a half, and you just know how much it means to everyone, right? And just that thought process of, hey, if we lose this game, like, that's it. We don't get to come back next weekend, right? You don't get to hang out with your friends, so it was nice for us to pull it out. So we're on to Colorado, obviously.
But it wasn't even at the half. It was like even late in the first quarter, you guys seemed to just flip a switch. Like, was something sad? I know you guys were at the bench and Mouse was drawing up some plays. Like, how did you guys just turn it around so quickly there?
I think it was more just get your head out of your you-know-what, right? So I think obviously they're a great team. They work hard, right? And you have to give them credit just for how they come out in games, right? And how that sprint, right? And they have a lot of young bodies out there, right? That just keep going. So obviously they came out swinging, and it kind of caught us off guard, and we were able to regroup.
I know overall the first didn't necessarily feel good, but how did you feel about your performance by the end?
You just find the consistency, right? I think at the end of the day I could have led in 15 tonight, but if we scored 16 I would have been happy, right? So the defense, I think, as a whole, we didn't necessarily have our best start, but I think we're pretty happy with how we were able to pull it together and kind of play the style of lacrosse we want to play.
How about Tyler Pace?
Yeah.
He's one of my good buddies, right? And I should probably make a comment about his head expanding because that's what he always does for me. But in all seriousness, he's my roommate. We carpool to the airport, right? He's one of my best friends, so he's just such a good competitor, right? I got to play junior with him the whole way up, and he really kind of solidifies that right side for us, right? So to see him have a big game and score some of those goals to pull us out of the fire was pretty special.
How much credit can go towards your head coach for this one?
A lot, right? I think the whole year can go to him, right? A lot of people were kind of writing us off early, and I think that really kind of grinded Mouse, and as it grinded all of us, right? But I think his preparation is second to none, and it really shows, especially in the 6-on-5 situations when we go out of TV timeout, stuff like that. I don't think there's many coaches that can compete with him in this league.
Colorado up next. I mean, Dylan Ward on the other side and the Mammoth. What do they present in this conference final?
Yeah, I think their offense just kind of has a lot of different guys that can hurt you, right? On both sides of the ball, right? They have guys like Connor Robinson, Leeser, Zed, Eli, right, who's going off. So, and then their defense is going to be good, and Dylan Ward's Dylan Ward, right? So you look across the lineups, right, in the playoffs, obviously there's going to be good teams, right? If they weren't a good team, they wouldn't be playing in the Western Finals. So we're excited for the opportunity to go head-to-head with them, and I think Colorado's just one of those great rivalries that the league loves.
In an intense game like this, I'm just curious how you keep yourself calm and maybe those resets when you guys do get down.
You don't really have much choice, right? Especially when you kind of look up and you have six goals on 10 shots or something like that. You're below 50%, right? And there's a lot of trust from Mouse, right? Leaving me in there and kind of knowing that I can pull it together and knowing that our defense can pull it together, right? So I think you just got to keep the effort and keep the process, and hopefully it works out.
I was going to ask if you noticed that it was like 6 goals on 9 shots. Like, do you notice something like that? And then does that motivate you?
You always watch it, right? And I always like to think in my own head personally, right? Like, you're always chasing 80%, I find, right? And I think the older I get and the more games I play, right, the more you just say, hey, what's the score, right? We're playing to win. We're not playing to hit a certain mark, right? And find that consistency that way. So like I said, if I led in 15 goals and we win 16-15, great, right? I was good enough to win, and we were good enough to succeed, right? But I think at the end of the day, you kind of do look up at times and you're like, okay, let's pull it together here a bit.